Hey guys, how you doing here today? It's David Lucas back here again. Welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm coming out here randomly again, popping up again to talk about a movie that I just recently seen. A movie that I hardly hear anything about that came out relatively recently, but I hear no one ever talking about this movie. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to talk about it. That movie is, if you still haven't guessed just by looking at the title card to the movie, which I'm really surprised that if you haven't, but that movie is The Empty Man. Yes, guys, The Empty Man. It's a movie that came out in, I believe, 2020, 2020, 2021. Literally right as kind of the pandemic was starting, and then we had, I think that was like the movie that was the last movie that was like one of 20th Century Fox's, original movies, because 20th Century Fox got bought by Disney at that point. So this was like one of the last 20th Century Fox real movies that they came out with. And it kind of got lost, I think. It got lost within all the other stuff that was going on, all the other, release movies that came out around that time. Really, just nobody ever watched this movie, I think. And when you look at the numbers and amount of critics that actually watched it, too, it was only like, I think, maybe like 100 critics that maybe watch it, not even. So it's not even like it has a lot of following from critics in general. So I was really surprised that no one saw this movie. And so I was randomly looking for just random horror movies to watch, because it is Halloween time now. So I was trying to find some random horror movies to watch, and I ended up coming across this movie. I watched like the first like 50 seconds, I think, of the trailer for it, and then that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop watching it. I'm just gonna go and watch the movie. And that's what I did. I ended up going and watching the movie, and wow, I gotta say, I have a lot of things to say about it. And yeah, it's a kind of like a mixed bad type of movie, I gotta say. It's a movie that I'm surprised nobody has seen. I'm surprised no one has even heard about. Even asked a couple friends, they have no idea, you know, what this movie is or anything like that. No one ever seen a trailer, never seen anything. So I was kind of like, all right, cool. A new movie for me to watch. Let me start right off the bat to say that this movie, I really love the prologue to this movie. I think the prologue to this movie is actually really excellent. It's like almost like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, I think. But it's actually really enthralling and really entertaining, I think. Kind of sets the stage, too, for everything that's going to come into it. It also sets the stage too. It also sets the stage too a lot for. It also sets the stage. It also sets the stage too a lot for what is going to come, and there actually is a lot that comes in for what is going to happen. So it's really cool how they go about it, and they kind of set up a little bit of a lore behind it too, and everything like that. I love the overall feeling and atmosphere of this movie. It just gives it so much more atmosphere, and you get that again within this 20-minute prologue that could honestly just be the movie itself. It could be just a short film of a movie itself. This movie was directed by David Dreyer, and from what I hear about it, from what I looked up about it, is that this movie kind of was like a passion project for him. And you really get to feel that. You really feel that passion behind this movie that he really had. And I like that, and I really like it a lot. And you feel that a lot through the pretty much the feelings of the movie and the way how the movie is shot. It feels kind of like a David Fincher type of movie, kind of like Seven. How Seven looked, the color grading to it really worked for it. I liked it a lot. And I gotta say too that another thing that I really did like about this movie was the main character. I really like the main character that we get after the prologue of this movie. And I really like how we found him. His name is James. He's an ex-cop or ex-undercover cop, I'm pretty sure is what they said. And he kind of gets thrown into this mess because of a neighbor, I believe it is. A neighbor that her daughter goes missing, and he's close with the daughter and stuff like that, and she goes missing because she is part of what eventually is this cult that is coming around. This cult for this pretty much demon entity, pretty much. It's this demon entity. It's some kind of spiritual type of thing that goes on, and it's called the Empty Man. And apparently a cult is building throughout this whole entire movie. Now, some things about this movie that I gotta say, there were some things about this movie that I didn't really like. And one of the things about this movie that I really didn't like is kind of some of the dialogue. Some of the dialogue in this movie is really bad, and some of it's kind of like, kind of like that. Also, too, some characters do stuff in there to where you're like, that wouldn't be real. That wouldn't happen in real life. And also, there's this other kind of stuff that goes on in this, too, that's kind of predictable and kind of like, I know that's going to happen. Watch, this is going to happen next. And of course, that happens next. So they do have kind of a that going on into it in this movie, which is unfortunate, but that's what's going on in it. So there are some things in this movie that I gotta say I was not that big of a fan of. Really like, too, of some of the, kind of the way how this movie tells you some of the stuff that's going on without telling you. Like, there are certain things with bridges, and every time something happens, when you see, like, when the spirit is taken over, that entity is taken over, people always are starting to go about bridges, and that is the start of it. It's almost like you're taking this bridge to a new journey or something. It's something I really realized, and then I heard somebody else mention it, so I can't take full credit for that at all. The thing, too, that this ending does, and it's kind of, you know, some people would like this, some people don't. I personally like it when it's done right, but I actually really did enjoy how the ending left off and how there are a few answers that are left unsaid. I really like how they did that, and I really like how they portrayed that and put it together, because I think that it works. I think it works with leaving a little bit of the viewer, you know, to decide of what's going on or what's happening. They did that in Seven, so again, it adds to that David Fincher-esque stuff of it, which I really like. David Fincher is probably my top favorite movie director, I think, ever, and I'm not even, like, you know, lying or anything. Like, he really is top 2 favorite film directors ever. I love David Fincher. And there's actually some really scary, you know, stuff in there. Like, there's actually a little bit of frightening things in here that I like. There's a lot of that theater of the mind type of scary enough that actually scares me a lot. And there's other things, too, with how the music and the way how it's shot. And then there's this one scene that of people, they are, like, in a cult. It's like when the cult's going on, there's this chanting. It wasn't that it was, like, scary or frightening me, but it was kind of like, this is good theater of the mind stuff. They had a lot of that theater of the mind stuff. You don't necessarily see the entity. You really just see, like, a black ghost type of thing. You don't see what he looks like or what it necessarily looks like. And I like that. I like how they put that mystery behind it. And yeah, I really liked how this movie turned out, and it does feel like an actual passion project movie. Pretty much at the end of the day, guys, I think The Empty Man is one of those movies that it gets very underlooked. I think it's going to turn into another Trick or Treat situation, where Trick or Treat ended up becoming a cult classic. You know, at first nobody knew about Trick or Treat, and then they started to know about it later on, and it became one of the most, you know, signature horror movies that there is in recent times. And I love Trick or Treat. I love it, and I love The Empty Man too. Because The Empty Man, I think, is a newer kind of version of that, where it's going to be one of those movies. So, guys, that's my thoughts on The Empty Man. Let me know down in the comment section below, and let me know your guys' thoughts on The Empty Man. Did you like it? Did you didn't like it? What was your thoughts on the whole thing? Have you seen it? Because, again, not a lot of people have seen this movie at all. So let me know if you've seen this movie and what you think about this movie. And of course, guys, if you like this movie, please subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot to grow. So, and I really appreciate that. It'll make me come here a little bit more often, probably. So, you know, subscribe a little bit more. Why not? Also, give this video a like too, because that helps this video get out a lot more. So make sure you like this video. Of course, guys, until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you later.